this challenge, I'll show a way to use messages to initialize multiple sprites, even when their placement on a stage depends on each other. In this starter example, I have the pictures of 3 animals on the left and their corresponding Spanish word on the right. The user needs to pick up the Spanish word and drop them on each of the matching animals. I'll use the cat, and I want to add 2 more sprites. New sprite, animals, the duck, new sprite, animals, scroll down, frog. The names and the types of the animals don't matter. It's as if the animals are question 1, 2, and 3, and the buttons will be the answers 1, 2, and 3. I'll rename these. Q1 for question 1. The duck will be Q2 for question 2. The frog will be Q3 for question 3. I'll arrange them on the stage. The cat up over here, the duck, and the frog. I want the answer sprites now. Things. Use button 2. Place it over here. Just as the animals are Q1 through Q3, the buttons will be A1 for answer 1, answer 2, and answer 3. First, I'll change the button's costume. Go to Costumes. I don't want this button. Right-click Delete. I'll duplicate this, but there's no duplicate command here. It's not a problem. I'll use the duplicate stamper and copy it. I'll make changes to the first costume. I'll keep the second one in case I want to make different answers in the future. Use costume 1. Now I'm ready to copy. Duplicate. Already named it A2 for me. That's nice. Duplicate. A3 for answer 3. I'll bring it down. I'll make the corresponding answers now. For A1, the top one, I want that to match the cat. I'll go to Text, add gato. Move it into the center of the button. Looks nice over here. Second one, text. Duck is pato. Click, move it down, center it. Looks nice. Third, text. Rana. Center it. Looks good. Finish changing the costumes. Go back to scripts. I'll change the backdrop to show a question and answer side. Go to Stage, Backdrops. I'll change backdrop 1. Select a light green. You can see the color here. I'll fill the area with it. Now, I'd like the right half to be blue. I'll select the blue. If I use the picture to fill with color, it'll fill all of it. Instead, I'll make a rectangle about half the size. Maybe a little hard to see that. Looks good there. I'll click on it. Got the solid blue line. That'll separate the 2 halves. Use the picture. Fill this in. I got blue on the other side. That'll work well. Answers on one side, questions on the other, even if the duck is laughing at it. With these questions and answers, how can someone select an answer? A simple way is to have an answer sprite picked up and dropped onto a question sprite. The question sprite can always be checking to see if it's touching an answer sprite. If it's touching an answer sprite, it can say whether it was a right or a wrong answer. To allow the answer sprites to be moved around when the program runs, I'll need to change Can Drag in Player. By checking it, Scratch will allow it to be moved. It's always allowed in the offline editor, but in the player and online, this box needs to be checked. Finished with this one. Pato. Can drag in player. Okay. Rana. Info. Drag in player. Now all 3 can be dragged when the program's running. I'll move gato back. I need the question sprites to determine when they're touching answer sprites. Use the cat. back to scripts, go to control and get an if statement. If the cat is touching an answer sprite, I'll go to sensing, touching. Going to be 3 different answer cases I'll have to work with. Here's answer 1. If the cat is touching answer 1, I want that to be the correct answer. The cat is Q1. If Q1 is touching A1, that's correct. If Q2 is touching A2, that's correct. If Q3 is touching A3, that's correct. If they're touching a different answer sprite, then they should say it's wrong. I'll go to looks, say hello. This is the right answer, so I'll change it to right, exclamation point. Duplicate. If Q1 is touching A2, I want it to say, sorry, try again. Looks good. Duplicate. Same thing for number 3. Q1 is right when it's touching A1. It's wrong when it's touching A2 or A3. If it's not touching anything, it shouldn't say anything at all. I'm not going to try to handle the case where an answer sprite is touching 2 question sprites. We'll keep it simple for this example. This will check 1 time. I'm going to want the answer sprites to keep checking. Go to Control, Forever. I don't want it to go very fast. I'll get a wait. 1 second might be a little too long of a wait. I'll make it a quarter of a second. 0.25. I want this to run when the green flag is clicked. Events. When green flag clicked. I'll run the program. Well, it was a good habit to press stop first regardless. Green. The loop is highlighted. It's running. I'll try. Gato. Says it's right. Message disappears. Try pato. It's wrong. Try It's wrong. Line them back up on the screen nicely. This is working nicely. I'll stop the program. I'll copy the code from Q1 to Q2. Drop it on the duck. I'll copy it on the Q3. Drop it on the frog. Go to the duck. Swap the says. Now for the duck, Q2, A2 is right, A1 and A3 are wrong. Go to Q3. I want Q3 to be right for A3, wrong on A1 and A2. I need the sprites to be set on the stage in initialization. I could have each one go to a set location. I'll start with the answer sprites. Gato. When the green flag is clicked, motion, go to, there's its location. I'll keep recreating. There's the location for pato, events. When the green flag is clicked, good. A3, green flag is clicked, motion, go to. I'll need the go-tos for the questions. Cat, add the go-to. Duck, Q2, add the go-to. Frog, Q3, add the go-to. I've got all the locations where I want the sprites to go to. I'll try it out now. I'll dump them all in the middle. Run it. They're all positioned nicely. I'll stop it. The sprites are nicely placed on the stage. I'd like the question sprites to be shuffled on the left and the answer sprites to be shuffled around on the right. There are many approaches to creating code to randomly order the question sprites and the answer sprites. This challenge is mainly focused on messages, so I'll make something short and simple, yet easy to allow adding more question and answer sprites. There's a big problem. I'll go to my diagram to help illustrate it. The big problem is that all the sprites are initializing at the same time when the green flag is clicked. It's like opening the store's doors at 4 in the morning for Christmas sales. The question and answer sprites each rush to start. You don't know which one will get in first, and you hope no sprites get hurt trying. How can the sprites coordinate which question sprites get the question positions and which answer sprites get the answer positions? I'll have the stage object determine the position for all of the question and answer sprites. Then when the stage object tells the sprites to initialize, each sprite will go to its position on the stage and no sprites will get hurt. Hopefully. As I've mentioned in an earlier challenge, coordinating multiple sprites is a fundamental problem in programming. It's not limited to Scratch. First, the stage will determine the sprite's positions, then it will broadcast a message for all the sprites to initialize. I want the sprites to initialize when they receive an initialize message event. I'll change the program now. I'll go to Events. When I receive message, new message, I'll create initialize. I want to run the code when I initialize, not off the green flag anymore. Now the rest of the sprites, Q2, when I initialize, Q3, pretty simple here, this will get done pretty quickly. A1, when I receive initialize, A2, when I receive initialize, A3, when I receive initialize, the sprites are ready to initialize. Now they need the initialize message broadcasted. I'll go to Stage, Broadcast and Wait, Green Flag. This initialization framework will work. When the green flag is clicked, the stage will broadcast the message, then each of the sprites will initialize when they receive the message. Back to Stage, try it out, stop the program, move them all into the middle here. Green flag. They're all properly positioned now. All the question sprites are testing to see when they're touching answer sprites. I'll try it. Gato. Right. Bato. If I try gato on the frog, it says wrong. Good. And on the frog, all three are saying right. That's good. I'll stop the program. That worked nicely. Run it again just to reposition the sprites. Yeah, nice. Stop it. Now the stage can determine the sprites' locations. I'll use lists to hold the Y positions of the sprites. The stage will initialize the lists. I'll create a procedure block, make a block, call it initialize lists. No options, okay. I'll move the definition down a little bit. I'll add the call when the green flag is clicked. When the green flag is clicked, it'll call initialize lists. When initialize lists is finished, it'll broadcast initialize. I'll need a couple lists. I'll go to Data, make a list. I'll call it temp Y positions. Okay. I'll make another list, make list Q Y positions. Okay. I'll move temp Y positions over. They're just going to be 3. QY positions, only 3. I'll use temp Y positions to create a temporary list. QY positions will have the positions for the questions Y locations for their go-to statements. Once I have the lists, each of the questions will use the Y value from the list. Q1 will use item number 1 from QY positions. Q2 will use item number 2 from QY positions. Q3 will use item number 3 from QY positions. I need to initialize QY positions. Back to Stage. I want QY positions to be random, so these will appear shuffled on the stage in any of the 3 positions. I'll use temp Y positions to have a copy of the 3 positions. Then I'll randomly select list elements out of the temp Y positions into QY positions. QY positions will then be randomly ordered. I like the Y positions I've got already. First I'll initialize the temp Y positions. delete all temp Y positions. I'll need to add the 3 positions. 1, 2, 3 temp Y positions. The cat's Y position is 116. Back to stage. 116. Position for Q2 is -7. Back to stage. -7. Position for Q3 is -122. Temp Y positions is ready. I want QY positions to be empty. Delete all the items. I want to randomly choose the positions 3 times. Go to Control. Repeat. Instead of saying 3, I'll say the length of temp Y positions. Back to Data. Temp Y positions. First I'll add an item into QY positions. What item am I going to add? I'm going to have to delete it out of temp Y positions. I'll need the location of the item. I'll make a new variable. Call it myIndex. Okay. I want to set my index to be the random position in temp Y positions that was chosen to be copied into QY positions, then removed. Go to Operators, pick Random. I can't say 1 to 3 because after I remove one of them a little bit later, then the number should be from 1 to 2. It needs to be whatever the current length of temp Y positions is. Duplicate. The first time, my index will be set to 1, 2, or 3. The second time after an element is removed, it'll be 1 or 2, then it'll be 1. I have my index. Go to Data. I need to get the item from temp Y positions of my index. My index will be 1, 2, or 3. I'll copy that item from temp Y positions into QY positions. Now I need to delete it from temp Y positions. Delete. From temp Y positions, duplicate my index. I'll randomly pick an element out of temp Y positions, copy it from temp Y positions into QY positions, remove it from temp Y positions. Temp Y will have 3, 2, then 1. QY positions will be empty, then 1, 2, or 3. Randomly selected. It'll be a random list. I'll try running it. Stop. Run. I had a shuffle there. I saw temp Y positions very briefly. Position 1 is for Q1, the cat. The cat's gone to -122, which would be down here near the bottom. The duck is Q2, takes the second position, -7, in the middle. The frog, Q3, takes the third position, 116, near the top. Looks like this is working correctly. I'll click on it a couple more times. Reinitialized, and again, and again. Good enough. I'll stop it. One last thing I can do is to get all the X positions the same on all the Q sprites. I'll go to Q1, which is at -128 in the X-axis. I'll go to duck, change 133 to 128, negative. Q3, 135, make it -128. Should all match now. Looks good. I'll try a run. Position nicely. I'll stop it. This is working nicely. I need the same reshuffling of the answer sprites on the right side now. I'll make a list. I'll make answer Y positions. A, Y positions. Okay. I don't need to look at QY positions anymore. I don't need to look at my index either. Y positions. Shrink it. Go to stage. I'll copy this code. Duplicate. I want to delete all in temp Y positions. Now I need the Y positions of Gato, Pato, and Rana. I'll get A1's Y position, 108. Pato is -5. Rana is -118. Back to stage. 108 -5 -118. This code's working on AY positions, not QY positions. Change QY to AY. Still want the length of the temp Y positions. Choose from temp Y positions. Want to add to AY positions an element from temp Y positions, then remove that element from the temp Y positions. Code's ready to run. I'll try it. Stop. Green flag. AY positions are randomly shuffled. Try again. And again. One more time. Sometimes random isn't quite so random with only 3 things. I'll stop the program. Now I need to answer sprites to move. Go to the first one. I'll get item 1 for answer 1 of AY positions. Pato, get item 2. Item 3. Change the 1 to a 3. Get all the X positions the same. 118, 117, 118. Pretty close. I'll get the second one to 118. Try the code. Stop. Run. There's a different order. But it's interesting how the random numbers have Pato, Gato, and Rana right across from each other. Try again. I'll even stop. Not that's going to matter any. Now there are some differences. Pato is duck, Gato is cat. It's running. I can try. Correct. Pato is not cat. Gato and Rana. Working nicely. I can get rid of the 2 lists from the stage. I'll stop it. I'll go back to the stage code. One thing I want to do is to add a comment. I'll right-click on the block, add comment, change the text over here, deletes, and I'll add a comment, initialize, question, Y, positions. I'll use the minimize. Now there's a comment on the code that can be helpful. It can be opened up anytime and closed. I can add a comment on the second block of the same thing. Add comment. I'll scroll over. Initialize. Answer. Question. Positions. Minimize. Comments can be helpful for telling me right now and in the future, and more importantly, other people, what code is doing. You'll be surprised how much you'll forget after you haven't looked at a program in a few months. I'm finished with this challenge. I really encourage you to play with this example. It's important to get comfortable using messages to properly initialize sprites and to understand my use of lists to allow the sprites to initialize independently of each other. It's very important to help you avoid bugs in your future programs. Notice that the program doesn't care about the contents of the sprite's costumes that are displayed. They can be any text or any image. A costume is a costume, and in other challenges, make different kinds of costumes. I want to encourage you to try changing the program. Try adding a 4th question and answer to match. In the costumes for the sprites, try using Paint New Costume or Upload Costume from File under this Costumes tab to make a completely different question or answer image. Or try having the program determine when all the answers are correct and end the program. But above all, work with the program to understand it.